In his first 5 games as a starter, he scored more points than anybody since 1975. But just 2 weeks earlier, Jeremy Lin was sleeping on his brother's couch, expecting to get cut. If you don't play well tonight, it'll probably be your last game in the NBA. That's what Lin's agent told him on February 4th, 2012, hours before the Knicks played the Nets at the Garden. Deplete by injuries, New York's coach Mike D'Antoni was forced to give a chance to his fourth-string point guard. Not expecting much before that game, Lin was a virtual nobody, constantly being mistaken for a team trainer by security guards at Madison Square Garden. A month later, he was arguably the most famous basketball player on earth, with more jersey sales than Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. This is the story of Linsanity breaking stereotypes and the craziest path to NBA superstardom of all time. Jeremy Lin was overlooked his whole life by scouts, coaches, even by his own parents. His parents are both 5'6", and they never understood their son's obsession with basketball. But as long as he got good grades, they let him play. And because he loved playing so much, Jeremy always had good grades, and eventually he became really good at basketball. Yet nobody seemed to care, even though he averaged 16.4 points, 4.5 assists, and 2.4 steals as a senior, leading Palo Alto High School to a 32-1 record and defeating the favorite Modern Day in the finals to clinch the Division II championship. College offers for Jeremy were nowhere to be seen. Lin grew up across the street from Stanford, but their coaches didn't recruit him. Neither did the coaches from UCLA or many other prestigious universities. And it wasn't that college coaches were entirely unaware of Lin. Jeremy actually sent his highlight reels as well as full quarters of play to various programs, but with no result, no Division I program offered Lin an athletic scholarship. And it was easy to see why Lin was a two-star recruit, ranked 426 nationwide, standing at 6'1", barely cracking 170 pounds. And he wasn't athletic. And last but not least, he was Asian. He's an Asian kid, and he's not 7 foot tall. You don't see a lot of Asian point guards making Division I basketball. Skinny white point guards get stereotyped, but for Asians, it was a whole different level. As no Asian point guard ever had a meaningful role in the NBA, Lin was battling racist remarks his whole life from opposing players and fans, and was always viewed as the weak link. But his confidence never wavered. And after they saw him dominate Division I players at an AA tournament, Lin's talent was finally recognized by Harvard's coaches, who decided to offer him a scholarship. Harvard's underwhelming basketball program was desperate for talent, and Lin was also a great student with a 4.2 GPA, so he fit their mold perfectly. However, as a freshman, Lin was physically the weakest player at Harvard, and he barely played. But in 2008, his sophomore season, Lin got stronger, averaging 12.6 points per game, and was named to the All-Ivy League second team. In his junior year, Jeremy improved across the board, averaging 17.8 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 2.4 steals, with excellent shooting percentages. Lin was the only Division I player ranked in the top 10 in his conference in all major statistical categories and was a consensus selection for the All-Ivy League first team. As a senior, Lin's numbers stayed virtually the same, but due to his experience, better decision-making, and leadership, Harvard finished the season with a 21-8 record, the best result in the program's history at the time. Lin finally gained national attention, mainly for his performance against the 12th-ranked Connecticut, where he scored a career-high 30 points and grabbed 9 rebounds against Kamel Walker. Jeremy graduated from Harvard with a degree in economics, a 3.1 GPA, and was an Ivy League all-time leader in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Lin put his name into the 2010 NBA draft, but the same pattern emerged as he was once again overlooked by everybody. If I don't get drafted here, I probably won't get drafted. I'm thinking like, oh, if I get drafted, what's going to happen? I'm just going to run around like hugging everyone. I'm going fly to New York tomorrow. Most scouting reports viewed him as a smart passer with a flawed jump shot and a thin frame who might not have the strength and athleticism to defend, create his own shot, or finish at the rim in the NBA. Daryl, my then general manager of the Rockets, put Jeremy's stats and draft combine results into a complex computer model, which projected Jeremy to be the 15th best player in the draft. But my staff weren't prepared to place blind trust in their model, because as an Asian American kid, Lin simply didn't pass the eye test. A year after Houston and every other team let Lin go undrafted, the Rockets began measuring the speed of a player's first 2 steps, and Lin had the quickest first step of any player measured. He's incredibly athletic, but the reality is that every person, including me, thought he was unathletic, and I can't think of any reason for it other than he was Asian. However, despite all the stereotypes, one general manager saw past his ethnicity, Donnie Nelson of the Dallas Mavericks. Nelson offered him a spot on the Mavs Summer League team, and Lin used his opportunity to the fullest, averaging 9.8 points, 3.2 rebounds, and 1.8 assists in 18.6 minutes per game while shooting a team-leading 54.5% from the floor. After his strong summer league showing, Lynn received offers from the Mavericks, Warriors, and 2 other teams, ultimately deciding to sign with his hometown Warriors, who offered him a 2-year contract. I picked my little brother up. I'm signed with Golden State. But in the 2010-2011 season, Jeremy saw little playing time behind Steph Curry and Monte Ellis, appearing in just 29 games, averaging 2.66 points in less than 10 minutes per game. During the offseason, Lynn worked hard to improve his game. He restructured his jump shot by abandoning the shooting form he had used since the 8th grade. He also increased his strength, doubling the weight he could squat from 110 pounds to 231 pounds, and almost tripling the number of pull-ups he could do from 12 to 30. Lynn increased his body weight from 200 pounds to 212, and the added muscle helped him add 3.5 an hour's Alaman to his standing vertical jump and 6 intage to his running vertical jump, while his lateral quickness improved by 32%. However, during the NBA lockout, Jeremy never got a chance to work out for new Warriors coach Bark Jackson. On his first day of training camp, the Warriors waived Lynn and his $800,000 contract to free up salary cap space.
Went in there and the general manager, assistant general manager, were like, "We got to let you go. We're trying to get DeAndre Jordan."
3 days later, Lynn was picked up by the Rockets, but before the start of the season, Houston waived him too. On December 27, 2011, after injuries to guards Iman Shumpert and Baron Davis, the New York Knicks claimed Lynn off waivers to be a backup point guard behind Tony Douglas and Mike Betty. Essentially, Jeremy was the backup's backup, but he was used to being overlooked. During practice, Jeremy would stand right beside me on the side of a court and not really get in, even in practice. He was just there in case one of these guys got hurt, and he kept working extremely hard to get a chance to play. Lynn was the first to arrive in the practice facility and the last one to leave, but the Knicks still played him just 6 minutes per game off the bench in his first 9 appearances for the team. But then out of sheer desperation, as the Knicks had an 8-5 record, coach Mike Danton decided to give Lynn more opportunity to play, telling Jeremy that he'd play more minutes in a back-to-back game against the Nets on February 4th. Up until that point, Jeremy was sleeping on his brother's couch, not willing to rent his own apartment out of fear of getting cut again. And the night before that February 4th game against the Nets, Lynn's brother asked Jeremy to find another place to sleep because he and his wife expected guests and they needed their couch in their 1-bedroom apartment to be available. Evicted from his brother's home, Jeremy spent the night at Landry Field's house.